7 Asian countries can enter Dubai without applying for a visa. No embassy, no long waiting, no complicated paperwork, just a passport, a flight, and one of the world's most famous cities waiting on the other side. But which 7 countries made the list, and why does Dubai open its doors to them? Let's find out. Number 7. Brunei. We start in one of the smallest, wealthiest, and quietest nations in Southeast Asia, Brunei. With a population of less than 500,000 people, Brunei rarely makes global headlines. It's a tiny sultanate tucked into the island of Borneo, sandwiched between 2 Malaysian states, and ruled by one of the world's longest reigning monarchs. But its passport carries more power than most people realize. Brunei citizens can enter the UAE and stay for up to 30 days without arranging anything in advance. Just land, present the passport, and walk through immigration like a local. So why does a country this small get this kind of access? The answer lies underground. Brunei sits on massive reserves of oil and natural gas, and that wealth has quietly funded one of the highest standards of living in Asia. There's no income tax, healthcare and education are free, and the country has built a reputation for financial stability rather than flashy diplomacy. That stability matters to the UAE. Visa-free agreements aren't handed out for popularity, they're handed out based on risk. Countries with low overstay rates, strong economies, and stable governments are the ones that get trusted with open doors. Brunei checks every one of those boxes, even if most of the world barely thinks about it. For a country most people couldn't point to on a map, that's a remarkable position to hold. Number 6. Kazakhstan next. We head into the heart of Central Asia, a country that spans 2 continents and holds more land than all of Western Europe combined. Kazakhstan. Kazakh citizens also enjoy 30 days of visa-free entry into the UAE. And this isn't a minor detail. Kazakhstan has spent the last decade rapidly opening itself to the world, expanding air routes, modernizing its cities, and turning Almaty and the capital, Astana, into serious travel and business hubs. For most of the 20th century, Kazakhstan existed behind the Soviet Union's borders, largely closed off from international travel. Since independence in 1991, it has worked aggressively to rebrand itself, not as a former Soviet state, but as a rising economic power sitting between 2 giants, Russia and China. The UAE saw an opportunity in that transformation. Kazakhstan is oil-rich, resource-heavy, and its citizens are increasingly wealthy travelers looking for luxury getaways closer to home than Europe or the US. At the same time, the UAE has been positioning Dubai as a financial and logistics bridge connecting Asia, Europe, and the Middle East, and Central Asia fits directly into that vision. Dubai said yes to Kazakhstan early. And now, a nation once known mostly for its Soviet history and vast steppe landscapes is flying business class into one of the most glamorous cities on the planet, visa-free and increasingly treated as a serious economic partner rather than a distant frontier state. Number 5. China. Now we arrive at a name that changes the scale of this entire list, China. With over 1.4 billion people, China isn't just a country, it's practically its own economic universe. And since 2018, Chinese passport holders have been able to enter the UAE for 30 days without applying for a visa in advance. Before that agreement, Chinese travelers faced the same lengthy visa process as most of the world. But the UAE made a calculated bet, remove the friction, and the tourists will follow. They were right. This single agreement reshaped Dubai's entire tourism industry almost overnight. Chinese travelers arrived by the millions, and the city responded. Luxury malls added Mandarin-speaking staff. 5-star hotels began offering Chinese breakfast menus and UnionPay payment systems. High-end shopping districts started designing entire seasonal campaigns, especially around Chinese New Year, specifically to attract this new wave of visitors. And it doesn't stop at mainland China. This visa-free window also extends to passport holders from Hong Kong and Macau, meaning some of Asia's most powerful financial hubs are included in the deal, giving even more of the region direct, frictionless access to the Emirates. For the UAE, this wasn't just about tourism revenue. It was about positioning Dubai as the bridge between East and West, a neutral, glamorous meeting point where Chinese capital, Chinese tourists, and Chinese trade routes could connect with the rest of the world. China was the key that unlocked that ambition. Number 4. South Korea. At number 4, we have a nation whose passport recently got even stronger. South Korea. For years, South Korean travelers received 30 days of visa-free access to the UAE. But under an expanded bilateral agreement, that number was upgraded. Korean citizens can now stay for a full 90 days without ever touching a visa application. Think about what that means in practical terms. A South Korean tourist can land in Dubai, explore the Emirates at their own pace, hop over to nearby countries like Oman or Jordan, and return to the UAE, all within a single 3-month window, with no extra paperwork, no renewed applications, and no additional fees. South Korea's global influence has exploded over the last decade, through technology giants, entertainment exports that dominate global streaming charts, and a manufacturing and trade network that touches nearly every industry on Earth. As South Korea's soft power grew, so did its diplomatic leverage. The UAE clearly wanted to deepen its relationship with one of Asia's most dynamic economies, and extending the visa-free window from 30 to 90 days was a direct symbolic way of doing it. It signals trust, and it signals that the UAE sees South Korea not just as a source of tourists, but as a long-term strategic partner in technology, energy, and trade. Number 3. Singapore. Now we move to a nation that consistently ranks as one of the most powerful passports on the planet, Singapore. Singaporean citizens receive a generous 90-day visa-free stay in the UAE, no application, no fee, no waiting. This might not surprise you. Singapore's passport regularly opens doors most passports can't even knock on, ranking near the very top of global mobility indexes year after year. But what's interesting here isn't the number, it's the relationship behind it. Both Singapore and Dubai built their entire national identities around the same idea, becoming a global hub for trade, finance, and travel. Despite having limited natural resources and relatively small land masses, Singapore turned itself into Asia's financial capital through free trade policy, aggressive infrastructure investment, and a business-first government approach. Dubai did almost exactly the same thing in the Middle East, betting on logistics, tourism, and finance instead of oil dependency. It makes sense that these two cities move like allies. Their governments understand each other because, in many ways, they are mirror images of one another, two small territories that turn geography, ambition, and smart policy into outsized global influence. The visa-free relationship isn't just convenience for tourists. It's a reflection of two economies that see each other as natural partners in a competitive global system. Number 2. Malaysia. We're closing in on number 1, and this next country might surprise you. Malaysia. Malaysian passport holders also receive a full 90-day visa-free window in the UAE, one of the longest stays on this entire list. Malaysia has strong historical, cultural, and religious ties to the Gulf region, built over decades of trade, education exchanges, and shared cultural connections. Millions of Malaysian tourists, students, and business travelers move through Dubai every year, many using it as a launch pad to explore the wider Middle East, from Saudi Arabia to Jordan to Egypt. Here's the detail most people miss. Malaysia isn't just visa-free going into the UAE. Malaysians can travel to a huge number of countries worldwide without a visa, making their passport one of the most versatile and underrated in Southeast Asia. This didn't happen by accident. Malaysia has spent years cultivating diplomatic relationships specifically to expand travel freedom for its citizens, treating passport strength as a measurable form of soft power. Dubai simply became one more open door on an already impressive list, but a particularly important one, given how much Malaysian tourism and investment flows into the UAE every single year. For Malaysian travelers, this isn't just about a holiday. It's often about business, education, and religious tourism all wrapped into the same 90-day window. Number 1. Japan. And now, the country that claims the top spot in 2026. Japan. For years, Japan has held the title of one of the strongest passports on Earth, consistently ranking at or near the very top of global passport power indexes. And the UAE relationship proves exactly why. Japanese citizens enjoy a full 90-day visa-free stay in Dubai and across the Emirates. But the real story isn't just the 90 days. It's what this relationship represents. Japan and the UAE have spent years deepening ties that go far beyond tourism into energy, technology, infrastructure, and trade. Japan remains one of the world's largest importers of crude oil, and a significant share of that oil flows directly from the UAE. In return, Japanese companies have poured investment into UAE infrastructure, renewable energy projects, and technology partnerships. Japanese airlines fly direct routes into Dubai, connecting two economies that quietly depend on each other far more than most people realize. And in return for that deep economic relationship, Japanese travelers are welcomed with almost zero friction, no visa applications, no fees, no uncertainty. When a country known for having one of the most trusted passports in the world extends that trust fully to Dubai, it says something important. It says the UAE isn't just building a tourist destination, it's building a global relationship, one visa-free passport at a time. And Japan, with its economic weight, its trusted global reputation, and its decades-long partnership with the UAE, earns the top spot on this list. So there you have it, the 7 Asian nations that can walk into Dubai without ever filling out a visa form in 2026. Brunei, Kazakhstan, China, South Korea, Singapore, Malaysia, and Japan. 7 very different countries, different sizes, different economies, different histories, but all connected by the same privilege, the freedom to travel without borders getting in the way. And here's the bigger picture. This list isn't fixed forever. The UAE has been steadily expanding its visa-free network for over a decade, driven by a clear national goal to become the most visited country on Earth. Every new agreement, every upgraded visa-free window is part of that larger strategy. More countries could join this exclusive club in the years ahead, and existing countries could see their access expanded even further. If your country isn't on this list yet, it might not stay that way for long. Global mobility is shifting constantly, shaped by trade deals, diplomacy, and economic partnerships most travelers never even hear about. If you found this video useful, hit subscribe, because we track these global travel shifts before most people even notice them happening. We'll see you in the next one.